We finally reached the most important step, electron transport chain, or ETC. It takes place in the inner membrane of mitochondria, except for prokaryotes. Since they don't have any organelles in mitochondria, their ETC takes place across their cell membrane. The definition of ETC is ETC couples the endergonic pumping of hydrogen from matrix into inner membrane space with exergonic flow of electrons through electron carriers within the inner membrane. I know it is a lot to comprehend, so let's break it into parts and see if it makes sense. Take a look at this picture. You can see a giant mitochondria, not to scale, with outer porous membrane in blue and inner membrane in purple, plus a space between the two membranes called intermembrane space. Enclosed by inner membrane is what we call matrix. Outside of my mitochondria, in the cytosol, is where glycolysis took place. In a matrix of mitochondria is where pyruvate decarboxylation and citric acid cycle took place. And lastly, the inner mitochondrial membrane, shown in purple, is where ETC takes place. The colorful proteins that you see are proteins that are embedded in the inner membrane of our mitochondria, and they form electron transport chain. They include two types of proteins. One type, or type 1, is protein carriers, which are mobile. Type 2 are protein complexes, which are fixed. The protein carriers that you might have heard of are CoQ or ubiquinin and cytochrome C. And as a side note, it is good to know that cytochrome C contains iron, Fe, and is conserved across all organisms. Okay. Now, think about membranes of our cells and what an important role they play. They compartmentalize the spaces, right? It seems not very important, but it is, because by having membranes, we can create gradient across it, specifically here electrochemical gradient, and use that energy to generate ATP. Confused? It's totally fine. Let's dig deeper and see if it makes sense. Recall that two products of tricarboxylic acid cycle was NADH and FADH2 among others, right? And guess what? That is what is needed for ATC. See how each step is connected to the next one? So the proteins of ETC in the inner membrane of mitochondria take an electron from electron carriers and generate the oxidized form of electron carriers, NAD+, FAD+. Do you recall the big picture in introductory videos and how we cycle the oxidized and reduced form of electron carriers between 4 different processes of aerobic respiration? If you don't remember, go back and watch that video, because that's the fundamental of all these processes. Okay. Now that electrons are captured by proteins in ETC, they pass it along, so purple to pink, pink to yellow, until it reaches oxygen molecule in the matrix and turns that into water. While electrons are being passed, H+ ions are being pumped from matrix into the intermembrane space, bringing the pH of intermembrane space down. At this point, we have created a gradient across the inner membrane, and those H+ ions want to get back into matrix and equalize the concentration on each side. They do that by returning through a protein called ATP synthase, which I'm showing with an orange color, It is named this way because it acts as a turbine, and passage of H plus ions rotates the turbine and provides energy. ADP and P are waiting for the energy of turbine to attach and make ATP, as you can see in the matrix. ATP production by oxidative phosphorylation is the most efficient way to regenerate ATP. Glycolysis yields only 2 ATP, while oxidative phosphorylation yields 36 to 38 ATPs. So, going back to our definition of ETC, we said that ETC couples the endergonic pumping of hydrogen, so showing that in green color. So we are pumping, so we are using energy to do that. So it is endergonic pumping of hydrogen, and the location is from matrix into the intermembrane space with exergonic flow of electrons through electron carriers, right? We said it grabs the electron from electron carriers, NADH, FADH2, and passes it along, and that is exergonic flow because we're not using energy to do that. And ETC couples these two within the inner membrane. I hope this definition makes sense. Before finishing our videos, I want you to pay attention to 2 points that are very important for the purpose of DAT. First one is the final product of aerobic respiration, which is water, and the other one is final electron acceptor, which is oxygen. As you can see, I have highlighted for you. I have highlighted it for you. Okay, have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed these videos, and good luck on your tests and in your future career.